is it possible to still have huge success going forward in 2026, the years after, and what are we looking forward to, and what changes are coming in 2026? So we're going to talk about a few things. TikTok Shop, and we're going to make sure that by the end of this, you guys are just aware of exactly how you should be prepared for 2026 and beyond. What you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and are there some things that we should keep an eye on? So we're going to talk about TikTok Shop. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about Andromeda. And we're going to talk about new Facebook features. Okay? So we'll start with the most trendy topic, which is AI. And this actually it ties into the new Facebook features and Andromeda. So AI can be utilized for graphics, it can be utilized for a lot of things when it comes to building your business. But the problem we have right now is that people are building slop. We have a lot of AI slop, okay? And I do not think that we're at the point yet where you can completely replace everything, especially when it comes to graphics, videos, definitely videos, with AI. Also, who doesn't like AI? Facebook. Facebook does not like AI at all. You will receive higher CPMs if your website is wrote with ChatGPT, which is crazy, but I understand why they're doing it. Also, if you're not posting high quality content on Facebook, that is coming into the same bracket as, and we'll talk about Andromeda more in a second, but you need to be posting high quality, real content. Less when it comes to images. There's some image creation tools now which are absolutely insane. But if anybody in this room ends up posting an AI creator that looks awful and is just some slop, then yeah, you're not allowed back. But let's now talk about Facebook's new features. So this kind of ties into Andromeda, and we'll have like an overall conversation here. I think the takeaways from AI are that right now it's more of a tool. You can get some great images out of it, but we are so far away from being able to be a fully fledged business just from AI. And I will say as well, some of the AI chat bots that I've seen that handle customer service, you can prompt them to a huge extent these days. And that is actually something to consider with AI. And I nearly forgot about it. But I would definitely consider looking at chatbots that if they can't answer the question, they just tell the person to go to support. But generally, they're pretty clued up on the products, the questions. You feed them the FAQ through a prompt. You can just prompt it until you can't prompt it anymore, really. So new Facebook features and Andromeda. So Andromeda is actually one of Facebook's new features. What Andromeda does is it takes all of the creatives that you give it and it creates personalized journeys for people. So instead of hitting people with a cold ad and then setting up a retargeting funnel that has middle of funnel and you allocate the budgets or whatever, we're now going with broad campaigns, CBOs, and just chucking all the ads in and keeping on all the ads that have spend on them. And please do not make the mistake, I know we spoke about this earlier, but do not make the mistake of just saying, hey, this one's got the highest return, so I'm just going to turn the rest of them off. If ads within that campaign, even if they're not making you a huge amount of money on the individual ad level, you want to be keeping them on as long as they are spending money, because what we want to do is not look at ad return on ad spend, we want to look at campaign return on ad spend. So this is something that we should be thinking about coming into 2026. Andromeda's learning machine is smarter than you. There is no point in setting the retargeting budgets. There is no point in setting up different campaigns. Put everything into one campaign and let Facebook do the work for you. All you need to focus on is just shoveling in more creative every week, bi-weekly, depends where you're at scale-wise, but just making more cold ads, more middle of funnel ads, and more bottom of funnel ads. So other Facebook features, I know we just spoke about Andromeda. So Andromeda for me is a huge tick. New Facebook features. And now Facebook has actually released, funny I've got glasses on, but they have released for the Meta Ray-Bans, they've actually got a feature on the ad where you can try the product on. I think that this is going to be implemented into a lot of clothing brands, sunglasses brands, makeup brands, and people are going to be able to essentially have filters within their ads that show people exactly how the product will look on them. This is huge for makeup brands, clothing brands. I doubt you could get away with it in the skincare space because people will probably just abuse it. So new Facebook features, cool. I think a lot of this is 2027. I don't think it's immediately now. So Andromeda is the one that you should be looking at. Now, TikTok Shop. This is where I come to a bit of a crossroads because TikTok Shop is a new marketplace. It's an exploding marketplace. And most people think that they just need to jump on it straight away. I would caveat that by saying, take some time to think about how you want to disperse your ad budget. And most people say, well, wherever makes the most money. Okay, no, don't worry, I get it. TikTok Shop is very good at doing that. GMV Max campaigns are very effective. What is the problem with TikTok Shop though? There must be some sort of catch. Well, the problem is, it's data. You do not get any data when you run your brand on TikTok Shop. Now, of course, you get videos, you get creators, which actually I'll put on here to speak about, just so that I don't forget that. But when you're building a brand and you're looking to exit eventually, what you want to be looking at is how many emails do I have? How many phone numbers do I have? The reason you want to be looking at this is because that's what investors look at. Not to mention, even if you weren't looking to exit, you can email these people. You can text them. You can let them know when a Black Friday sale is coming up. TikTok has no data for you to take back to investors. So if you're just on TikTok Shop, you're screwed. You're in huge trouble there. And what I would say is you definitely want to be using Facebook, Google, and doing loads of D2C before you jump onto TikTok Shop. Now, that's not to say that TikTok Shop is redundant, because obviously it can generate a huge amount of revenue through GMV Max. And another thing that people don't realize is that when you have affiliates that post for you, yes, that generates you revenue on TikTok Shop, but what's to stop you going to those people and saying, hey, you did a really good video for us, please create some content, we're going to pay you, and then slap that content onto Facebook and Google. If you understand this, you have a very, very cheap way of getting creators all the time that are happy to post for you. First of all, because they're getting commission from posting on TikTok Shop. And then second of all, they already know you. Maybe they've made some commission from you. They're happy to work with you. And that is hunky-dory. So creators are great. What I would implore you to understand and think about though, from a budget allocation space, is if you want this data, which you should, because TikTok Shop, when it comes to Black Friday, you're not going to be able to ping all these people like you would be able to do on the D2C side. If you would rather put that budget into Facebook and Google, I would go ahead, even if it's a more expensive cost per acquisition there, just so that you get some of that data. Also, TikTok Shop has something over you. It has a huge amount of control. They set the discounts. They give you the coupon codes. And if you're a brand that's conscious of your price and you always want to hold a certain price point, you're not going to be able to do that with TikTok, because on Black Friday, and this is a larger conversation, but TikTok essentially are trying to acquire market share by running at a loss. So they're actually giving businesses, brands, coupons, and then they're giving the customer the coupon, and then they're giving the business the product cost at full price, which is great for you. And I know everyone's getting excited as I'm saying this. But the problem with that is, if you really want to hold a $50 price point, and that's kind of your thing, and you know that's part of the brand and you always want to keep that, you're not going to have that on TikTok. They might just randomly apply a 20% discount to you, and on Black Friday they were doing up to 60% off, which is great for your back pocket, but is it good long term? And with everything we do, we want to be thinking super, super long term, 3 years plus, exit territory, and we can all relax on a yacht after that. But these are a few things that I would consider that are coming up. TikTok Shop, for me, it definitely does get a tick, but I would just think about these things before you go ahead and do it. Because for me, the amount of control that it has here and the fact that you don't have as much data might swerve me. And I've consulted other brands on this and actually said, hey, look, just allocate the budget there. It's going to be a better shout for you long term. You just need to consider that. Andromeda, don't try and outsmart Facebook. Just feed it as many creatives as you can. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And then when it comes to AI, don't generate slop. Don't put out any content that is AI generated, that looks super AI generated. I think right now, images are the only ones that I've seen come across that look really, really good. And then we have some new Facebook features, which are probably 2027 and beyond. So that's it for e-commerce in 2026. If I could add anything to kind of wrap this up, what I would say is that we are in a spot right now where there are so many brands, and TikTok is not helping this, that are discounting their products so much. I saw some ridiculous discounts on Black Friday, and I just thought, okay, that's all well and good, but when it comes to this time next year, and you did a discount that was just huge at Black Friday, you're training your customers not to buy again. So you're training them to not buy again at full price, right? So 2 things that I would say that I want to carry into 2026, and I would definitely recommend that you guys do the same, is 2 words: trust and brand. Build your brand image and make sure that customers have absolutely no reason in the world not to trust you. So build your brand and hold a good price point. I would stay away from being aggressive with discounts unless part of your brand is to be a discount brand. And then I would just go ahead and make it completely unreasonable for customers to not trust you, because we are seeing so many kind of scammy brands, especially because of stuff like TikTok Shop, which are just clouding the whole market. So 2 words as well that I would take into 2026. And look, you should be doing this anyway, but I think it's very, very important moving into 2026. Trust and brand, hold these things within your business. Have a think about these elements for 2026. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I will take them now.